Good morning, Texas. I'm Jillian Gaier.
And I'm Kylie Badgley. Thank you for joining us on the last summer morning of the year.
Last summer morning, and it's actually also the National Peace Day. Did you know that?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Also the job fair is today.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go to that, yes.
Yeah, I'll be going too.
I'm get an
weirdly
internship.
nervous, even though I'm a senior and I've done this a couple of times, but
I know.
I guess that never stops.
So how was that, Jillian?
Honestly, it was a really cool thing to cover. They made this new green wall, which is so interesting. All the architecture students were telling me that this is where the direction that architecture is going, that they're trying to integrate the outdoors with the indoors, which I thought was really interesting and cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's honestly not what I thought the architecture students were doing here. I thought they're making buildings, like building things on a computer.
Right, and I mean, as a journalism major, there are so many things I don't know about going on campus. It's so interesting to learn about these new things in different departments, so it was really great I got to learn about that. Also, bake sales and parties are common events used to raise money for philanthropies. However, Alpha Epsilon Phi sorority found a way to raise money for their charity while showing off some dance skills. Our Rachel Monson gives us the inside scoop.
So Jillian, you're actually in the sorority that put this on, right?
Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't be there because I was out of town this weekend, but my best friend choreographed it and a lot of my friends were involved with it, and I think it's a great cause, and it's actually the second year they've been doing it and they've gotten a great turnout. I think it's been sold out both years, so that's really impressive.
Yeah, I know a bunch of my friends went and I heard it raised a lot of money, so that's so awesome.
Well, a lot of heavy stuff in the news these days, obviously, but I think it's kind of cool that Chief David Brown is going to be the commencement speaker.
Yeah, you're graduating, right?
I'm graduating, so that is the big talk of the town for my graduating class right now.
Yeah, you're going to get to hear a really good speaker.
When we come back, we've got Avery Travis. She's coming back, and we're going to talk about TSTV's political show, Tower Talks, with us. Stay tuned. With less than 50 days to go until the 2016 presidential election, tensions are high as ever between the Clinton and Trump camps. This coming Monday, the candidates will face off in the first of 3 debates. Our political reporter, Avery Travis, went out to see what the UT students are expecting from the first debate taking place at Hofstra University. Many say they think the debates this year will be the most interesting ones yet. So how do you think the students responded when you asked them questions out in the field?
You know, normally when I go out to cover politics, a lot of students don't really know, what's going on or how they feel about it. But this election cycle, I mean, people have strong opinions on both sides of the fence. Like you heard, a lot of the students I spoke with said that they were doing their own research on the issues and wanted to know what they were going to be getting into before the debate even started. So that was really, really cool to hear.
What do you expect them to discuss on Monday in the debate?
Well, national security and immigration policy are always going to be hot button issues, especially for these two candidates. And those were most of the topics that students that I spoke with wanted to hear about.
And do you think that this debate will have any effect on the polls either way?
So in July, we saw a post-convention bump for both Clinton and Trump. Historically, there's a small bump in the polls for one of the candidates after the debate, but most students that I spoke with said that they had already made their mind up. They had their candidate that they were voting for, and they just wanted to see how their candidate handled the issues. In the latest 538 election poll by Nate Silver, he has Clinton winning at about a 56% lead and Trump following up with a 43% chance, but that's closing in quickly. This election's getting tighter and tighter. We've got polls out by NBC, by the New York Times, having them as close as 42-48, 50-50. I mean, really close race.
What could a win mean for one of these candidates in a debate? You know, how much could it matter?
I think in an election this polarized on the issues, I mean, people just feel so strongly, as you could see from the students I spoke with. I think that the debate is just going to rile up either side just a lot more than it has in past. This debate means a lot for this really, really close race.
Especially because these two candidates are probably the most polarizing candidates ever to run, especially among young people. A lot of people dislike them, don't think they're that truthful. So what do you expect the younger generation, how do you expect them to interpret this debate?
Right, so these two candidates have been called the most unpopular amongst voters, especially among our generation, students, etc. So, Hillary Clinton spoke at Temple University on Monday, and she said, directly calling out to students, I need you to vote, I need you specifically, definitely trying to fill that Bernie Sanders shaped hole amongst our age college students. But what I think both these candidates really need to do is start talking about the issues that millennials want to hear about and are facing. They're both really active on social media, and they're both touting themselves as change makers, but I think they need to start following up on the issues that students want to see to gain our millennial vote.
What do you think Trump needs to do in this election to make an impression? Not that he hasn't made an impression already, he's made an impression, but to kind of get, because I think in most polls, Clinton's a little bit ahead. It's very tight, but at this point, Clinton seems like she's a little bit ahead. Do you think that Trump needs to do anything to pull ahead even more?
I do think that especially amongst college students, both candidates have a history of evading the issues. So I think that's why the debates are going to be very important, is bringing it back to the issues at hand instead of just making this a dramatic soap opera like we've seen thus far. So
thank you so much for being with us, Avery. That was a taste of what's to come on TSTV's new political show, Tower Talks. When we come back, the Longhorn Singers will join us in the studio for a performance.